Thank you, Rachel. Well, Dee Miller is here with us today. And if you don't know Dee or her husband, Calvin, you haven't been around Stillwater very long and you don't get out much. That's all I've got to say, because they are a wonderful power couple. But Dee herself, she's wonderful. She came from White Plains, New York, came to OSU in 1975 to play basketball, married Reverend Calvin Miller. They have 3 kids, 6 grandbabies. She worked for the Department of Corrections and retired after 34 years. She went to work in the DA's office for Laura about 2.5 years ago. She's working on the grant for the program you're going to see today for Women's Residential Center program. And she also works for the Deferred Sentences and Prosecution as a probate officer for the DA's office. And Dee is just an outstanding person. When she talks, you pay attention. So I hope you enjoy the program as much as we enjoy just knowing Dee. So Miss Dee Miller.
Well, good afternoon. So y'all just need to relax. We done had girls had fun and Beyonce using those choice words, but my goodness. Okay. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the About Face Women's program. This is something that is well needed in our community. Okay. So I've got some little pictures here for you and we'll just talk our way through. Anyway, anybody going to ball game tonight? All right, let's go Cowboys. Here we go. And let me get my deal. Okay, statistics. This is information specifically for Payne and Logan County. So I had to do a little homework when I first started this thing. So would you believe in Stillwater and in Guthrie, America, during a 4-year period, you had over 10,000 women that had been arrested. 837 of those individuals had felonies filed, but we only sent a small portion of them to prison, that 162 number. And the reason that they finally do get to go to prison is because we give women so much grace. You get in trouble, you get in trouble, you get in trouble, you get in trouble. Then we finally get mad at you because you won't stop. Okay, so now you're eligible for 10 years. That's the length of time that they actually go to prison for. That is because over 88% of them have prior felony convictions at the time that we actually send them. Our statistic too is a little bit older than the norm because by the time they actually get to go to prison, they're 36 years old. Those crimes, substance abuse related, all of them. 95% of the reason that they go to prison is due to substance abuse behavior, substance abuse addiction. On any given day, approximately 27% of the individuals that are in Payne and Logan County Jail are female. We have a mission statement for this program to provide intensive, holistic treatment, life skills, job skills, counseling, education, vocational programming in a residential group home setting. This is different than most residential treatment programs is because we're trying to develop the entire person, not just treat their substance abuse, okay? So this is also a way to reduce the recidivism. Big long-term means so you don't come back. People go to jail now, it's old home week. They've been to jail before with Sally and Sue, and when they come back to jail again, Sally and Sue are still there, but they have new charges, okay? The vision statement, again, is to provide structure, treatment, education, those same things that we mentioned in the mission statement, to give those female offenders the ability to reach their fullest potential. Giving them a job trade is different than just sending them to work, okay? So that they're able to provide for themselves. This program will actually give them long-lasting and productive change so that we won't see them as constant repeat offenders. The program is a 501(c)(3) that is already in place, okay? This highly intensive structured treatment program will last for a year. We're going to have individuals between the ages of 20 and 40. So getting some of those younger women in the program so they don't change into the long-term repeat offender. And for those individuals who've been around the block a couple of times, it's a chance for them not to reoffend. It's a phased program. The individuals who are in this program will move through these phases together. So each phase will be approximately 90 days. We can extend some longer, just depends how the group processes. Excuse me. During the time that they're in the program, they will continue to receive individual and group counseling, educational assessments, the career assessment. They're going to also be attending vocational training while they're in the program. Okay, along with continuing to figure out their substance abuse issues. Again, working on their trauma, the reasons why they get into trouble. They will learn how to budget. They're going to learn how to cook. Isn't that fun? I went and priced a commercial stove the other day. I'm so excited. And in the back of the place where we plan on having this facility, we're going to grow a garden. Yeah, get a little farming in there. Okay. So these individuals, again, this is a 12-month program that they will stay in this house together. Substance abuse, of course, is their major issue for the majority of them, but we also want to include some faith-based counseling. If nothing else, the Lord can fix them. Okay. Their job trade. This is important because if you look around to most of our restaurants, fast food places, who's working in McDonald's, who works at Hardee's, who works at Burger King, they don't get enough hours. They're making minimum wage. So they substitute that income with drugs and those kinds of things. If you give these young ladies a trade so they're employable with that, we also, believe it or not, we have 8 different trade programs that are within the 2 counties where these ladies can work in apprenticeship programs while they're getting their training. So they do well with their training. We do some apprenticeship work. And by the time they finish the program, we've got a job for them. We also want to provide them with some community support. We will handpick mentors to pair up with these ladies that they will meet while they're in the program. And these individuals will help them to transition once they get into the community. The women can also come back to the house for aftercare during the time after they finish the treatment. We have a house that the city has finally approved and our program. It took us over a year to get this done. So we've got a place. This is on 12th Street. We're going to teach them also how to catch the bus and get around. We're in the community. So highlights of the program. These are the services that will be provided. Again, it's a 12-month structured residential group home treatment. We'll have mental health, substance abuse, trauma-based counseling, cognitive behavior therapy, teaching them how to think differently, codependency therapy. Their codependency, and I use the term with these women, you have very bad pickers. Y'all pick the worst fellas to fall in love with and to have babies by. We're going to try to change some of that behavior. But if you get these ladies straightened out, the entire environment will change. They'll be able to take care of their children. They may not even have as many children and have responsible whole households. They will have education and vocational training. We have psychological evaluations that'll take place for these individuals. The goal also is to be able to transition them into their own homes once they leave this program. That'll be a project that we'll start working on with some of the local apartment complexes and those individuals who own rental property here, is to change their environment also when they leave. Okay. They will also be able to follow up with them for an additional year after they finish the residential treatment program. We have a budget, which you have attached to the little pamphlet that shows you where we're going to need monies. And we sure would like y'all to donate to something of your choice if you choose. We can write you a letter for tax exempt too. These are the individuals, companies, programs, partnerships that we've already developed. We've talked to all of these people who are willing to help us get this program off the ground. So As we continue to provide this information to the community, we're looking for additional support. The females that will be in this program are from Payne and Logan County only. So it's a community investment from these two counties to be a part of this program. You see on the bottom there in the bold print, I'll come back to that one. These are the individuals that are on our board of directors. The ladies begin behind the system. Again, they come to jail together. They get to be buddies together. Some of them offend together. Everybody's going to be all in. This program is also unique in the form is that we'll have an ability to house 18 women in this program. Those women will start together and hopefully finish together. So if we lose one due to behavior, attrition, whatever, we will not replace them. Okay. The support has to come from them along with all of the other things that we're providing for them to be successful. Here's some Bureau of Justice statistics. Women that complete a long-term program of at least 1 year, they have a trade skill, not just a job. They have a stable home environment to go to. We have a community mentor. They will be able to attend aftercare counseling for at least 6 months. Our plan is to have them in this program for a year, that aftercare. You have the ability or can have at least an 82% success rate that they will not reoffend. We have all of those things that are built into this program. Ms. Laura Thomas, which is the DA who recruited me from retirement. This is my buddy, my boss. But this is actually a dream to be able to have something for these women from these two counties to help them be successful. I come from the corrections background, 34 years. I have seen personally 3 generations of a family come through the Payne County Jail and Logan County Jail. And you just go, my goodness. Today, there are only 5 residential treatment programs for women in the state of Oklahoma, only 5. And you stay in treatment from 30 to 45 days. It's not long enough to make a change. The 2 programs which are long-term in this state, which is Women in Recovery and Remerge. Remerge is in Oklahoma City. They only take Oklahoma County people, and it's a daycare program. They do their treatment during the day. Women in Recovery is in Tulsa. They only take care of the women out of Tulsa. It is, part of it is a short-term residential program, but you go to work. So those women are in treatment and working at McDonald's. They're not going to be successful very long. I've taken the best of those programs with my little training, and we've developed this. Okay. So Ms. Thomas wants to reduce the criminal recidivism rate of the women in Payne and Logan County. We can pray for the rest of the state, but we want to work on our people. Okay. And it's about changing them for an extended period of time for the rest of their lives. This is the About Face Women's program. Thank you. I'm supposed to answer some questions. I already see. Yes, sir.
Yes, I commend you. It's well thought out and very, very well done. Now, how do you vet who comes in? Is it after they've been in jail? How do you decide which women come into the program?
We have an extensive program evaluation tool to look at them. Recommendations are going to come from the DA's office, from the defense attorneys. Some may even come from family members. Some of those individuals may already be in prison that we can pull them back and give them an opportunity. Ms. Laura, you should probably come up here and help answer some of these.
We think we're going to deal with 3 categories of women. Those that have not yet pled guilty, and this would be part of their plea negotiations, kind of like drug court contracts. It would be similar. Some would be women that are already on probation that we would seek to have them resentenced into this program. And there may be a few in prison that the judge could judicially review the sentence if we thought they were a good candidate for this. We anticipate our board is going to be very involved in helping select women and follow through with them. We also have, I know Virginia Banks, this has been a dream of hers. She'll be involved. Dee will be involved, obviously. And some of my assistants will be involved in choosing the women. They will hopefully answer to a judge during reviews. I don't know which judge that will be right now. Judge Corley's asked me about this program, so he's been the one that's paid attention to it the most.
Is it only women in the judicial system?
It's only women in the judicial system, and they have to be nonviolent offenders. And that was our agreement with the city when the city approved the.
Yes, the program in the house.
What if some lady came to you that recognized she had a serious problem?
With drugs?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Dee would refer her to, and she has, because Dee gets those a lot, refer them to the appropriate, probably inpatient program. For ours, you have to be in the criminal justice system. Yes, yes. Yes.
So what about women that have kids?
Well, that's a good question because we will not accept kids into this program. There's a former program, Eagle Ridge, which was in Guthrie and now is
In Piedmont.
in Piedmont, and they accept women with kids. Well, we know from our experience that these people don't have good parenting skills. So we don't want children in the house putting an additional burden or excuse on the offender not to make it through. So we're going to have to make arrangements for the kids if they have kids, either family placement. There is a ranch in Logan County called Pepper's Ranch, which is where foster parents and children live in individual homes. And it's such a phenomenal place that I told Dee, once we ever get there, that it would be worth establishing a partnership with them. Yes?
So you mentioned that they don't have good parenting skills. When they get out, those not good parenting skills may continue. Are you going to address that in your 12-month program?
Yes. And that's one of the reasons.
One of the things that they will be doing while they're in the program is we will be working on their parenting programs. If they have the ISPs that they have through the Department of Human Services, those things will be addressed while we have them in the program. So they'll be able to transition back with their children. But if we don't get mom straightened out first, it's awful difficult to give her back her 4 or 5 kids.
And one more different question, again, back here. Getting jobs. Now they're going to have felonies on their records. How are you going to address that with employers?
I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Okay.
We've already gotten into
Yeah.
partnerships.
Yes, there is something called the targeted job tax credit because they are felons. During the first 6 months that they are employed with any employer, you fill out this document. The state will pay for half of the salary. The employer pays the other half, which gives them an opportunity to establish their work history. By the time the targeted job tax credit expires, you've got a trained person that the employer is willing to accept, knowing that they have a felony. And that'll be something that we'll do with employers in the beginning, is tell them we want to pair up these individuals with them.
I've been working on this with Dee since I was first elected in 2015. And Dee and I both are used to accomplishing something. We're not used to failures. And only a couple of months ago, Dee and I remarked how we were both so depressed about this because Dee says, I've never heard so many no's in my life. And I said, I can't believe it's so hard to find money, because that's always our stumbling block, to put it in gear. And just at that time, the Eileen Brown Foundation made their first contribution to us. So we've decided that that must have been a God thing, and that there's hope for this program. We know this program can work. Are there going to be failures? Yes, but we know this isn't offered anywhere else. A job skill is not offered anywhere else. It's just jobs, which is the first thing they quit because drugs are much more lucrative than McDonald's.
You were going right where I was going to ask about funding. Is this program funding yet? And if not, what avenues are you looking at to have it funded?
You go that way. Yeah.
I was actually taught, learned how to write grants. I have 4 of them that are pending right now. What state grants and foundations. So I was excited when I first started all of this, and I went to a training. I took what documentation I had. I came back with an outline of a grant, turned it in, federal grant. Actually, I had written 2. The first one, they said no. The second one, I actually got a second interview for. And they were all excited because the program was organized. And then they asked for the history of the program. I was like, what history? It's brand new. It hadn't started yet. So they told me to come back in 2 or 3 years when it was off the ground and I could get money. So again, the first year of this was lots of no's. I haven't heard that many no's since I was like 10. But, we learned how to not give up and to restructure what you need to get where you want to be. So we're on that path now. And so we're just trying to get it out in the community so we can gather some more support.
When do you anticipate taking in the first cohort of women
July 1st.
of next year?
Yes, sir. I had January, but I had to move it back a little bit. So July. Get it on the fiscal year.
What's the easiest way for people to make a donation? Because I assume you would take all the private donations you can
Oh,
get.
yes, yes.
What's the
and I'd even
easiest
come
way?
give you a hug. So when you write your check,
I like hugs. One check for one hug. You got it here.
got it.
Multiple checks would even get multiple hugs, I feel
I'm a
like.
hugger. I'm a hugger. So the About Face Women's program, if you would make a check payable to it, it is a 501(c). So you'll get, I even have some cool paper too to write the thank you notes
A
on.
hug and cool paper, you guys.
I did. So yes.
And where is the address to mail the donations on the brochure?
There's information on your table. It's on the back of the brochure. If you didn't get a brochure, we've got extras. So come get one.
And
Okay.
you may call the phone number that is listed on there. I will come and get it from you and get your hug.
You really can't beat a deal like that.
So it sounds to me like for continuing, it sounds to me like you're going to be dependent on a regular basis once the program gets started for donations and grants and stuff like that.
Yes, sir.
So does that mean that you anticipate having a development officer or teams so that you're continually trying to raise money? I mean, that's a challenge. You get the initial flush of money, but now a couple of years down the road, people are going to say, well, you already gave to that program. We'll move on to something else.
We're going to find some very talented board of directors. That's what they're for. We're going to put them to work. And also, we do have some more room for probably additional board members too, if anybody'd like to be on the board.
Yes, sir.
I think for a lot of us, and my name may or may not have been up there on the board, but it wasn't said, so no fine. But, for so many of us, we always complain about, nothing being done to keep something from this, like this from happening, or, we throw all our money away and it's just going to this and that. What I'm so encouraged by from what Dee and Laura have done is just, 82% to me seems like an unbelievable number. If it was even 40 or 50, I think that would just be a tremendous success to be able to do. So it's exciting from the community perspective to see what you ladies have done. So way to go.
Okay, folks, we don't have programs like this that really need help very often. Today's a table donation day. Dig in, green pictures of dead presidents on your table. We'll pick it up and get it to them. Green pictures, dead presidents, not blue pictures.
I see a lot of people reaching in pockets and purses. That's helpful. Thank you, Tim.
Where does this need to go? Okay.
I assume you take cash, yes, Dee?
Sure. Put a sticky note on it so I can give you your thank you.
All right, any other questions?
Turn it off.